Hello everyone, it's your girl Asia from the Rant channel. Welcome back to my channel. So, as you guys already know, the next video that I really wanted to talk about was Miles' bisexuality journey and how I feel like it is not as consistent as I thought it was. Because maybe like a while ago, I got into like an argument with my sister. Well, I don't really want to call it an argument because me and my sister don't really argue. But I do sometimes be having to correct my sister because one thing for sure and two things for certain, she does not watch Degrassi as much as I do. So half the time she doesn't really know what she's talking about. So I'll be really having to correct her because she doesn't watch the show religiously as I do. There's no one who's a biggest Degrassi lover as much as me. I feel like I've watched it all, except for junior high. I could not get into junior high. I'm not really sure why. It's just, I try to get into it so many times, and it's like I could never watch a full season. I can only watch maybe 1 or 2, 3 episodes, and I tune out. Maybe it's because the show was made in the 80s, so it's so old that I can't really get interested in it. So I'm not really sure. Maybe junior high will be something I have to watch later on down the road to try to watch it again. But as far as Generation to Next Class, yeah, I've watched it all. From Next Generation to Next Class, I'm talking about seasons 1 to season 14, locked in. From Degrassi Next Class to season 1 to season 4, I've watched it all. And Miles is one of my favorite characters that was introduced in the Degrassi universe to the point where I am very happy that they put a character in this show that I can connect with on some of a intimate and personal level. But Miles is just such an interesting character, such a great character. He is an S-tier character to me. I do know that girl on YouTube when she would ask people who watched the show where we would put his character. A lot of people put him in B and C tier. Not mad at it, but I feel like Miles was a character they were very consistent with from the moment he came in to the moment he left, to where it confuses me why he was in the B and C tier, but to each his own. But one of the main things about Miles' character that intrigues me is his bisexuality. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like when I watched Degrassi, I feel like the show was not the best when it came to writing Miles' bisexuality. Now, one of the first things I'm gonna say is that I think the reason why they never really did too much with Miles' bisexuality is because Miles never came out and said he was a bisexual man. He never said he was bisexual, even though as the audience we know that because he dates girls and he dates guys. But he's never really said, oh, I'm bisexual. He just always was like, he likes what he likes. He dates what he dates, and that's it. You feel me? Cool. I was okay with that. I don't really need all the labels and things like that. If you're just somebody who likes what they like and you date what you like, that's fine by me. I don't give a shit. But in this case, Miles is bisexual. I don't think the show was as consistent with it, because if you ask me, when Miles came out to his family in season 14, they only really did that one episode, the second episode, of us seeing how much of a struggle it's going to be for Miles to be able to be himself when his dad can't even accept him, and that his dad was fake trying to accept him for press just to look good in front of the news and things like that, like a good father, like he accepts his bisexual son, when in reality he despised Miles for liking guys. I think that is one of the main reasons why Miles never really came out and said he was that, is because he didn't have his dad's approval. So I think to Miles it was more like he needed to find, connect with his inner self and be okay with being bisexual with or without his dad's blessing. Not blessing. You don't need anyone. With or without his dad accepting him for who he is. You feel me? And that's another thing they weren't consistent with. They was not consistent with Miles and his dad's relationship. In Next Class, I do wish when they said that the dad was coming around more, that Miles and the dad had more scenes together, more confrontations. Like, I would have loved to seen if Miles just went off on his dad and just told him what he put him through all these years by not loving him the way he felt like a dad should love their son. By making Miles feel like he's not good enough because you don't love, because making Miles just feel horrible because as a parent you just wasn't as loving and nurturing like you should have been. And Miles' mother ain't no better. She was a horrible parent. So you can see why Miles struggles with so many insecurities and has daddy issues, and why he acts so rebellious, because being bad and being a troublemaker is the only way he gets his dad attention. He doesn't get his dad attention if he's on his good behavior or things of that nature. It's like he can only act like a delinquent or a troublemaker to get his dad's attention. Because Miles got kicked out of boarding school. That's why he was in Degrassi. So it was like, you know, another thing I really like about Miles' character, that he was the first guy on the show with daddy issues. As it would tend to be like, oh, a girl with daddy issues. Like, people tend to think that guys can't have daddy issues, which they can. So I really like that with Miles' character on the show, they show us a teenager who has daddy issues, that you can have daddy issues even if your dad is in your life. You feel me? Like, you don't necessarily need to have daddy issues just because your dad isn't in your life. You can have daddy issues if your dad is in your life, but they're not the most if they're not the father you thought they would be by being in your life, you could have daddy issues. So I like that with Miles' character, that they did show that he had daddy issues. Now, back to Miles' bisexuality journey. Like I said, going back and watching the show and watching Miles' bisexuality journey, it is not the most consistent as I thought it was. And if we're going to be really 100% honest here, there's only about, like, even though Miles' bisexuality journey isn't consistent, it still was entertaining. I still loved it. But if we're going to be honest, Degrassi really isn't the best when it comes to writing LGBTQ storylines, just in my opinion. Like, if you look at a lot of the gay characters, it's like as if once they come out, they're not interesting because you did what you did for them. That's why I use like Marco as an example. Like, look at Marco's character from when he was in the closet, and then look at his character when he finally came out. When Marco finally came out the closet, he was just like self-obsessed with Dylan. Like, it's like they didn't know what other character traits to give him other than let's make him really obsessed with Dylan. Tristan was just an openly gay character who had no storylines, no character depth, one of the worst characters to ever step foot in the show. When honestly, when you look at Tristan, there's so many storylines they could have done with him. Instead, they write a teacher and student storyline with Tristan, and I'm not gonna lie, when I watch those episodes when Tristan was being groomed by the teacher, and sorry for going on a little side rant, but this is all important, so I'm just going to say what I have to say. And I also forgot to mention, once I'm done talking about my points in this video, I also do have a side rant. Tristan, like I was saying, when I watched the episodes when Tristan was being groomed by the English teacher in season 13, I don't know if it's just me, but it's like when I was watching the storyline just unwrap, it was as if they wanted you to try to see where Tristan was coming from, because he was insecure, he had low self-esteem, he didn't believe that he deserved love, so it was as if anybody could have showed Tristan any ounce of anything and he would have fell for it, because he does not know what real love is or what it looks like. So my thing is like, okay, as a teenager, or you know, as a grown-ass adult, why would I try to see where Tristan is coming from? As much as I hate Tristan, I didn't want him to be groomed by a grown-ass man. I didn't want the very first relationship he's ever experienced to be with a grown-ass man who was a fucking pedophile and a predator. No, I cannot connect with that. So when you have people out there who say, oh, Tristan had every right to be mad at Maya when she blabbed about the inappropriate relationship he was having with his teacher, it's like, why would I be mad at Maya? Maya was doing the right thing. She told an authority figure. what the hell? Tristan should be grateful what Maya did, because in that moment he might hate Maya, but later on down the road he's gonna see she did a really good thing. Like, I want you to have your fairy tale. I want you to have everything that you want, but you should not have it with a grown ass man. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna sit here and support it. So for him to tell Maya don't say anything, and to sit back and act like the bitches from Pretty Little Liars, who were very much aware of Arya's relationship with Mr. Fitz, and never tell anyone, bitch, you're highly mistaken. But what they failed to do with Tristan's character is they never showed you how he had to deal with that. They never showed you any therapy, nothing. Nothing. There wasn't even an investigation. Once the teacher left, that was it of it. That was just done, and that to me is horrible writing. Horrible. That's just really bad writing, because it's like, how can you just end the storyline like that? We don't see if this man ever gets arrested, like nothing. Like, Tristan deserved real justice, period. And again, I feel like he owed Maya an apology. But like I was saying, like, Tristan is a character I feel like that I use as an example, who was just an openly gay character who didn't do shit. He had no storylines, no nothing. When I feel like there was so many storylines they could have done with Tristan. Why is Tristan attracted to people who love bomb him? Has he never seen real love before? Is it something going on in his home life as far with his parents, where he just feels like any ounce of love that he receives or gets is enough for him? Tristan was very shallow. How come they never talk about that? The actor who played Tristan before he lost all that weight, he was a very big guy. So to me, it was more as if Tristan was insecure. So it's like, why not do a body image storyline with him, to where he was a big guy and he thought because he was so big that was one of the main reasons why he didn't have a relationship, because nobody wanted to be with a big guy. Okay, Tristan comes back for season 13 and he lost an amount of weight, and it was never talked about. They didn't use it as a storyline, and I don't know if the actor who played him had, personal issues. I don't know if he did struggle with body image, or if he went and got lipo to get the weight off. I'm not sure, and I'm not judging. What I'm saying is Tristan is a character, a gay character at that, who suffered at getting real material to where fans like me could not connect with him emotionally. Instead, he was just written as a horrible person, and I just hate him. Adam is a character, the first ever trans character in teen drama history, got little to nothing of representation. I don't even have to say anything with Adam, because y'all already know what the fuck is up. Y'all already know my grievances with Adam. They did Adam horrible on the show. Going back and watch Degrassi, one of the main things they were not good at was representing Adam in a way that he should have been represented. And the only thing they ever represented was the hateful transphobia Adam got. Like, as far as you can't use the guy restroom because you're not a guy. Or as if you have ignorant people who don't understand what trans really is. They think, oh, because you haven't got the surgery and directly that makes you still a woman, just because you put on boy clothes don't mean you're a boy. They only showed the hateful side of it. They didn't show the journey of Adam. Like, they just showed us the hate he dealt with. Like, why didn't we get any storylines with Adam, with him struggling with it? Like, struggling what makes him a guy. Like, struggling. Like, they didn't show any of that. It's like, if you go back and watch Adam's storylines, it was as if he only wanted to get surgery, this or that. If he was in a relationship, he was talking to a girl. Like, I can't believe they had the audacity to write in season 11 that he never talked about getting the surgery before, up until he was doing what he was doing with Katie. Are you kidding me? You serious? That's bullshit. So Adam is yet another character that's in the LGBTQ world of Degrassi who failed and got a lack of storylines. Who else? Imogen. Imogen was pansexual, and Imogen really was just used as a dating plot. All her character did was date, literally. They gave her what they gave her in season 12 with her dad having dementia, but other than that, she did a Eli, she did a Fiona, then she was with Jack. I don't get it. Imogen was just a character who did nothing but date. We don't know anything about Imogen. Little to nothing. Again, a character that's in the LGBTQ world who failed to get any real right representation. Riley. Well, Riley is kind of a meh. Here's what I would say about Riley. They had a really good thing going with Riley in seasons 8 and 9. But I feel like once you watch 10 and 11, they were dragging it. Then in 11, if I'm not mistaken, season 11, he was, I think it might be season 11, or am I mistaken? Bitch, I don't know. It might be 10 or 11. 10 and 11 is when he was making out with Zane. The mom caught him, and then he told his mom he was gay. She told him that he wasn't. Then he broke up with Zane and said he don't think they should be together. And then after him and Zane broke up, they had no more screen time season 11. So it was as if with the writers, they were kind of done with Riley's storyline. Okay, to me, I feel like all you really had to do was just make Riley come out and just see where we go from there. How his parents react. But it's like, that was it. So, again, Degrassi really has a history of not doing the best with the representation. And honestly, I can't blame the characters. I blame the writing, because it was as if they didn't know what to do with the gay community. And the only good storylines I could think of that were really good represented as far as like the LGBTQ characters was really Marco and Zoe. I feel like both of their storylines were consistent. They show you the struggle with it. They showed you how hard it was for them to come out and tell their families, and when they did come up to their families, how that also affected their character. Like, I don't understand. Like, with Miles, when he finally came out and said he was bisexual, it was to Tristan. To me, I feel like that scene should have been completely backwards. I feel like when Miles came out, I feel like for the first time for Miles to say he's bisexual, he should have came out to his family again the right way this time. He should have come out to his family. If not to his family, his fucking dad. Why would you write a fucking scene where he comes out to Tristan to be a bisexual when it's like, who can really get behind this? Because I don't even ship Miles and Tristan, and they don't have any chemistry to me. The fuck? How can I ship a relationship that's toxic as hell, where someone is always lying and cheating, and the other one gets hurt but takes this person back anyway because they feel like eventually they'll learn how to love them? That's toxic. I'm not shipping that. When Miles finally came out of the closet for being bisexual, it should have been to his dad. That would have been a great thing, because at the end of the day, that's who he should have came out to, because that is the motherfucker who needs to accept him. Tristan, on the other hand, I guess you could say him coming out to Tristan is like, oh, so Tristan could stop with the bisexuality, the biphobia and all that. That's how the scene is done, because it didn't matter if Miles came out to Tristan or not. Tristan was going to always hate Miles for being bi, because to him, Miles being bi means Miles had other options. So to Tristan, it made him feel like him and Miles' relationship was never going to feel secure, because Miles being bi means he has options. No, bitch, you're saying that your partner is promiscuous, which we all know isn't true. Whenever Miles was locked in with somebody, it was only that person for real. You feel me? The only person he really was scheming and cheating on with was Tristan, but he only did it once. So I don't understand. Twice, because he emotionally cheated on Tristan with Maya, and then he physically cheated on Tristan, and emotionally again with Lola. So it's just, I don't understand. It's bad writing, because it's not consistent. Because if you go back and watch season 14, it was really only the second episode that they really showed you how Miles was struggling with his dad not accepting him. And then anything after that, you know, they just show you that Miles' home life is taking a toll on him, to where he's skipping classes, and, you know, to not deal with the situation, he's smoking weed. And you feel me? You got everybody in that room who know what he's going through, judging him, who should really cut him some slack. I understand you don't want your friend or your sibling to be dosing their pain in drugs, but it's like, at the end of the day, for Hunter and Frankie to be in that motherfucking room and judge Miles for smoking weed, something that's not going to kill you, to me, that scene is crazy to me, because it's like everyone in that room, everybody in that room knew what the fuck Miles was going through. Winston know about his bad relationship with his dad. Tristan, Hunter and Frankie, y'all know, so if anything, y'all should cut me some slack. I understand if you feel like me doing drugs is me not being the best sibling, not being the best friend, not being the best boyfriend. But today, I'm not perfect. The fuck? I'm not perfect. And if anything, Tristan, why did you choose now to be with Miles when all this home life and stuff is like crazy? You already knew once all this shit came out, he wasn't really going to be as attentive to you. So, off bat, you really should just cut your losses until... You really should just cut your losses and just tell Miles that until he get his shit together, you don't think you and him going to be able to work shit out. But the only one who's able to accept Miles for being bisexual was Maya. That's it. But like I said, his bisexuality journey is so inconsistent because in season 14 they had a really good thing going on. You feel me? They could have showed us more with Miles struggling with it. But instead, that's not how they wrote it. Instead, they made it seem like he was handling it with all nice and grace when it's like in reality, no. He was struggling with it. That's why he was suppressing his feelings with weed. And then not only that, they fucked his journey up because they had him dating. Miles should not have been dating anybody once he came out and then the whole shit with him and his dad started happening. He shouldn't be dating anyone. Anybody that Miles was dating once everything in his home life started happening was really going to be treated horrible if we're going to be 100 because he was not going to be as attentive and be the best boyfriend to them. That's why I say I 100% agree when people say Miles was shitty to Tristan when they first dated. I 100% agree he was. As a matter of fact, Miles was always shitty to Tristan whenever they dated. When was Miles ever the best boyfriend to Tristan at all? Y'all, okay, once y'all figure that out, then y'all come back and talk to me. But as far as I know for watching the show, Miles has never been the best boyfriend to Tristan at all. And to be honest, I can't really be mad at it because I never really wanted them to be in a relationship. This is what happens when you try to shove things down our throat and we don't like it. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm not condoning cheating, but I'm just saying I don't really care for Tristan and Miles' relationship. So, to me, whenever they were broken up, it was great for me because I never wanted them together, in my opinion. No, I never wanted them to date. I never wanted them together. I never wanted them any of that. And to me, I just feel like Miles' bisexuality storyline is just so inconsistent because see, the first thing they had him with Tristan. Then they did the whole storyline with him falling back in love with Maya. Then it didn't work out. Then they put him in a useless ass relationship with Zoe. Then in next class, he come back and it looked like him and Tristan were about to date. That didn't happen. Then instead of still showing us the struggle with his sexuality, they do a pill popping storyline due to the mom telling Miles that the dad wants to come back and Miles not being able to handle that because his dad amps up his panic attacks and anxiety. So he starts getting addicted to pills, any kind of pill, due to the hands of Esme. Then he went to rehab, got better. Miles didn't do anything in season 2 other than have a whole storyline with Tristan as far as like Tristan being a virgin, things like that. All the shit I didn't care for. Like, I did. Season 2 was a really bad season for next class. Like, it's really nothing but a bunch of fucking filler, honestly. Then season 3, Tristan was in a bus crash. Tristan is in a coma. Miles emotionally cheats on Tristan with Lola, and physically he gets Lola pregnant. Miles and Lola are really cute. I definitely feel like they had chemistry. I'm low-key indifferent towards the ship because I do feel like Miles used Lola. And I only say I feel like he used her because immediately after they had sex, he said they couldn't hang out and they couldn't talk to each other anymore. And to me, I just feel like that's using somebody. He knew that Lola was, I feel like Lola was in love with Miles. I do. I feel like she loved him just for the short period of time of what they had. And he admitted that he loved her too. That he loved her. So to me, it was as if, I don't know. If you ask me, I would have broke Miles and Tristan up at the end of season 2 and put Miles, and I would have had Miles and Lola in season 3. slowly becoming friends to where it turns into something romantically, that's what I would have done. Because to me, to this day, it always cracks me up that when Frankie and Shay asked Lola who she lost her virginity to, and she told them it was Miles, that they both laughed at her. Like, what the fuck would she need to lie for? She was pregnant. That was the baby daddy. Like, child, whatever. And then, yes, that's season 3. And then season 4, Miles got into the writing school in Europe. Him and Tristan break up due to Tristan feeling like he doesn't want Miles to be his 24/7 nurse because he doesn't want Miles to give up his dream. Tristan had the nerve to tell Miles he did not need to stick by him at all when he was in a coma. That really pissed me off because Tristan is such a horrible person. What do you mean you didn't ask me to do that stuff? You didn't have to ask me. What, you want, a word, a cookie? I loved you, so that's why I stuck by you. If that's how I knew you really felt, I would have left your ass in that motherfucking bed, whether or not, if you live or die, bitch, whether or not if they gotta put a cord on you. I would have just said, you know what, I don't give a shit. That's how you really felt, bitch. That's all you need to say. But to say, oh, I didn't ask you to do any of that stuff. What do you mean? I stuck by your side because I loved you. Even when Miles was doing what he was doing with Lola, he still was by Tristan's side. Even when they show you when Tristan came back to school, he was there when Tristan started learning how to walk again. All of that. So what is you talking about? So Miles and Tristan broke up, and then really the only scene I can really say I like with Miles and Tristan was the prom that they had at the hospital when Tristan said, how do they say goodbye? Miles said, how do they say goodbye? Tristan said they don't, they just dance. That's probably the only scene I really, really like with them because it's the only one that showed genuine love between them. That's it. And that's literally Miles' journey in Degrassi. So as you can see, they scrambled his whole coming out scene as bisexual because up until that point, up until season 4 in that episode, they totally forgot that Miles was a bisexual character. They totally did. I swear to God they did. So they just scrambled that scene and then expected us to accept it. And one of the main things I'm really upset about myself is how I used to sit back and really felt like, oh, I didn't really think Miles was bisexual due to him only dating one guy. And I'm going to deeply apologize because you don't need to date multiple people because you're bisexual. No, people think that's promiscuous, right? No. Miles didn't need to date a whole bunch of guys to know that he was interested in guys. He liked Tristan, so he only dated Tristan. That's cool. You feel me? I just feel like I wish when I go back and watch the show, I wish Miles' bisexuality storyline was written better and was more consistent. His character was in a lot of like love stories, petty drama that I feel like we could say that shit later. Let's focus on this because in season 14 you cannot write that the bisexuality took a toll on him. Then when you do this episode where he step up to the dad and tell him he need to get the fuck out of the house, and when the dad finally does leave the house, everything is great and dandy. It's like, I don't understand the writing. And season 14 is so horrible, nothing is consistent. So I really blame that season for setting the tone for a lot of shit that they did not finish in next class. That season set the tone because if you watch it, because I didn't review every episode of season 14. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't. But like I said, in season 14, that first half, episodes 1 through 12, episodes 1 through 12, 11 and 12 were 5-star part 1 or part 2. Basically, it was like a Hollinsworth episode, for real. So after those part 1 and part 2 episodes were done, Miles was cool. Dad was out the house. Everything was cool. He just was learning how to try to be a better brother to Hunter and Frankie. So I'm thinking like, hold up. So all of that, everything that y'all wrote, with him being on the weed and crashing the car and suppressing his feelings and weed, all of that is just done because the father is not around. I don't understand the writing. Like, that don't even make sense. It's rushed. It's not good writing. It's not a story being properly executed. And then the next class, you just scramble what you can so you can end off everyone's stories. What? When half of those niggas in this class you didn't even do shit with. What storylines did Zig get? Nothing. Winston. It's a lot of characters who didn't do shit, and that pisses me off because it's like, For the newer generation and for the old generation, Degrassi really could have done better when it came to executing storylines well. Instead, a lot of storylines were kind of left on the hook. We don't know what happens next. They're never brought up again. That's not good writing. Like I just said this. The Tristan storyline with the teacher, that was done. Once the teacher left and told Tristan that he thought he was smart enough for whatever, they just went on to Zoe's case. I'm thinking like, whoa. This is not going to be no investigation. It's not going to be him getting arrested. None of that. It's just done and over with. Tristan doesn't get any justice. What kind of storyline is that? A bunch of mumbo jumbo. Like, Degrassi really could have done better when it came to their LGBTQ storylines. They could have done better when it came to characters in that LGBTQ fandom getting proper storylines. Instead, it's as if they wrote an LGBT character to say, yeah, we're representing, but to do nothing with that character. Like I said, Adam was the first ever trans character for teen drama. Up until Adam, there has never been a trans character in teen drama. How is Adam not only the only trans character in Degrassi, even after he dies, he's still the only trans character. But not only that, you don't do anything with him while he was there. You don't try to set a tone. You don't try to show storylines with him for kids to represent who are also in the same predicament as Adam when it comes to struggling to what makes them a girl, what makes them a guy. Like, Degrassi didn't do a good job. And even to me, it would have been nice to see more trans characters in Degrassi. Like, why did it have to be just Adam? There was tons of lesbians and homosexuals. Why couldn't it have been more than one trans character in Degrassi? You feel me? Like, that even rubs me the wrong way. Like, why was Adam just the only trans character? Like, they could have brought another trans character in the next class, or hell, in the next generation. They could have brought another trans character in. Why did it just have to only be Adam? I'm just really annoyed and very, very much irritated. But like I said, I feel like Miles' bisexuality storyline is not as consistent as I thought it was. If you go back and watch the show, it's not all that consistent. And I honestly think the reason why they didn't write it consistent because the writers knew that they fucked up the second that they just randomly put Miles and Tristan together at the end of season 13. Well, honestly, when you watch the show, you can already tell they were building something towards Miles and Tristan. In Paris, they set the tone, and then after they came back from Paris, when Miles and Tristan were getting closer by being on the basketball team, they were hinting that they were eventually going to be in a relationship. So to me, it's like, why rush it? Why rush it? Why not try to write something authentically? Why not? If you ask me, the Miles and Tristan storyline should have happened in season 14. It shouldn't have happened at the end of season 13. You could have hinted that there was going to be something between them in season 14. Like, you could have done something in not next class. You could have done something at the end of season 13 where Miles gives this look to Tristan, or him and Tristan give this look to each other, to where we know, okay, we about to get a storyline between them in season 14. I just feel like if the writers would have been more consistent and not have rushed them into a relationship, I probably would have shipped them. But because they shoved them down our throats and did what they did with them so randomly in season 13, I really wasn't a fan. I didn't give a fuck about anything they did for their relationship afterwards. I did not give a fuck. Their relationship didn't get no screen time in season 14. What the fuck do you remember? They didn't do shit as a relationship. Miles was off getting high, skipping 2 most of the time, while Tristan was making excuses for his behavior. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. Miles and Tristan should have never happened, and if you were going to do it, it shouldn't have been so fucking randomly, period. I done already made another video on why I don't get why people ship Miles and Tristan. Why do people like them so much? I don't get it. They have no fucking chemistry. They're toxic as fuck. I don't like Tristan. I don't think Miles should have been with Tristan. Miles should have been with somebody else. Tristan should have had a different love interest. Like, man, don't even get me started, bro. And then, I'm not a fan of trials. Sorry. If someone out here who listens to this video is a fan of them, by all means, that's cool. But me personally, I don't fucking ship them. Now, a little side rant I want to go on is, it's two that side rants I want to talk about real quick. First of all, the other one is with Miles, but this one is about Tristan. I just got to address this real quick because I listened to this girl talk about her Degrassi unpopular opinions, and she was talking about how Tristan is a horrible character, and he is. And you know what's so crazy? Tristan was really a character I used to stick up for when people would say he was shitty. I just stick up for Tristan. I used to say he's not that bad. Like, my sister used to, she didn't like Tristan. Like, when we first watched the Degrassi Next Class, she couldn't stand Tristan. I used to be like, Tristan not that bad, but watching the show as many times I have rewatched it, Tristan is an awful friend. He is an awful person. How the fuck in this class you're going to say you want to be school president and you're going to make this place feel like where everybody can belong, but when you have the outcast, aka Hunter and his friends, tell you that the video game room is the only thing they have among themselves to where they belong, because every other place in the school immediately rejects them because of them being outcast. They can't do basketball, they can't do football, so the video game room is all they have, is the video games. You shut the video games off due to some feminist Karen bullshit talking about all the girl characters are naked. What the fuck that got to do with them? They play the game, bitch. They ain't developed it. And I was so disappointed in Maya, like Maya participating in that. It's like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? Maya was participating in the whole feminism. Oh, it's two guy bathrooms. It's not fair that the girls only got one bathroom. They gotta walk all the way to this bathroom. It's like, what the fuck that got to do with anybody? That's how the school was made, bitch. Deal with it. And the girls' bathroom is big enough for any bitch to do whatever the fuck they want to do in there. It's big enough to be in a stall. It's big enough to smoke a roach in that bitch if you want to. Like, it's big enough. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, it don't make sense to me. Like, I can't believe they have Maya participating in that Karen activity bullshit. So, due to Maya and the Goldie girl getting the video game shut down due to them feeling like it's not fair that the girl characters in the game are partially naked and they get killed due to the violence of the game, they shut the video game down. Tristan didn't try to speak up for Hunter and his friends. He didn't try to say, oh, that has nothing to do with them. They just play the game. They don't develop it. Instead, he don't even ask them how they feel about it. He just shut it down. And everybody makes it like Hunter was weird. No, I feel like the only thing Hunter was wrong for is for how he went at things. But his feelings were very fucking valid. I would say that about Hunter. Hunter's feelings were valid towards Maya, towards Tristan, and whoever else he had on his hit list. His feelings were valid. How he went at things were wrong. I don't think Maya deserved to be cyberbullied. I don't feel like if he brought that gun to school that Tristan deserves to get hurt. But his feelings towards them were valid because Tristan was a horrible person. Like, you didn't even speak up. You're in the class. You're the school president. Why are you not speaking up? Maya, you got my video game shut down for absolutely what reason? I don't even know you. I don't even fuck with you. I don't even bother you. I don't even talk to you. So what agenda do you have against me? Hunter's feelings were valid. But with Tristan, how could nobody ever talk about how in season 12 Tristan was really the reason why that beef with Zig and Cam low-key started? Like, because even after Maya told Cam she kissed Zig, he was low-key cool. Like, okay, it happened when they were broken up. She was confused, looking at other options in case. When he asked her, she was still confused. She told him no. So to me, that was all the reassurance that Cam needed. But when you got when you have Tristan being nosy and being messy, talk about it's not Maya you need to worry about, it's that bloodsucker Zig. He would do anything to get Maya to ditch you. He was being messy as fuck. He was the reason why he's the reason why Cam stole that nigga Zig in the fucking game activity. He the reason why he did that, because Cam was cool up until Tristan said something. So how could nobody ever bring that up? Huh? Oh, I thought so. Nobody ever brings that up. The fuck? I don't like Tristan. He's fake as fuck. I just don't like him. He is not held accountable for anything he's ever done on the show. And I don't like that because they try to write him as this. Tristan is very shallow, self-conceited, but they try to make it seem like, oh, he got insecurity, he just wants love, and who gives a fuck? Fuck Tristan, fuck his love stories, fuck his fairy tale, bitch, fuck you. You a horrible person, you dirty, grindy ass bitch. And then my other hot take is, not hot take, my other side rant is with Miles. Looking back at it in season 13 with the whole love triangle with Miles, Maya, and Zig, Miles was never wrong for how he did anything when it came to Zig. As far as like turning up, Miles was never wrong. And the reason why I'm going to say Miles is not wrong, because a lot of y'all might disagree with me, the only time I feel like Miles was wrong was putting a gun to Zig's head. He was taking it a little too far. But let me tell you, in some ways, why I feel like he still isn't wrong. Because Zig started the fight with, Miles started the fight with him and Zig. But when he came to check Zig, to tell him and Maya having a performance, he didn't come in there with the intention to fight Zig. Maya told Miles to go talk to Zig because Zig was pissed at her. If you think about it, that's not really a smart plan, because Zig is already jealous of Miles due to the fact that him and Maya are together. So it's like, Maya, you go ask him to check on Zig, girl. You trying to get war started. When Miles went in there, he was really just asking Zig to just come on to the performance, because I know you care. Zig talked about he don't. Miles was like, whatever. Zig was like, he called Maya his sloppy seconds. That's the reason why Miles stole on his ass. So if you think about it, like Miles said, he was trying to come in there and make peace. Zig is the one who disrespected Maya. That's the only reason why Miles was trying to fight him. But if you think about it correctly, Miles was never wrong for how he went at anything with Zig, due to the fact that Maya was never the one who was telling Zig he overstepping his boundaries. Like, when you go back and watch season 13, why do Zig feel like he needs to have a say in Maya and Zig's relationship? Who cares about your opinion? Who cares what the fuck you have to say? Be quiet and sit back and enjoy this free meal in this free house where you can lay your head. Be quiet. Maya never put Zig in check, never told him to shut up. Therefore, that's why Zig was overstepping his boundaries and feeling like some of the shit that he was doing was cool when it really wasn't. At the dance, Zig had the nerve to allude to sex with Maya when he told Miles that it's going to be hard to be friends with someone when you're living right down the hall from them, alluding to him and Maya could hook up anytime he wants due to them living in the same house. And you telling me Miles didn't have a reason to get upset? Y'all are really tripping. Like, looking back on it, it pisses me off that whenever something happens between Miles and Zig, Maya always took Zig's side. She never, ever, 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 ever tried to see where Miles was coming from. He was always immensely looked at as the bad guy when it's like, no. The reason why he turned the fuck up is because you ain't putting this nigga Zig in his motherfucking place. You should have been told this nigga to back off. And the reason why I ain't done nothing to him because I know you care for him. But now he running his mouth and feel like he got a say in our relationship to where now I'm about to buck him in his motherfucking lip. I don't understand. I don't get how people try to say Miles was really the bad guy in the love triangle. No, Maya was really the bad guy. And I have made a lot of videos about this to where I feel like I don't really have to say anything else other than she was really the bad guy because she was stringing both Miles and Zig along. She let this nigga Zig put a bracelet around her wrist, knowing she was with Miles. She had the nerve to tell Miles she thinks they should not have their relationship open, it should be private, so she can spare Zig's feelings. Miles asked Maya that he cannot pretend like their relationship is a secret because Zig is pandering around acting like he's one, and she told Miles, who cares, act like the bigger person. He said, I can't do that. He said that you've been stringing him along for a whole year, Maya. Why? She said she's just trying to make sure nobody gets hurt. Miles said it's too late for that. Yeah, that's the dumbest reason I ever heard. You don't owe Zig anything. She don't owe Zig shit. Just because Zig was there for her during the darkest time of her life don't mean she just entitled to date him. Because that's really what it gave. It gave up that Zig was entitled, that oh, he could only date Maya next, and he was mad that she did it to somebody else. Nigga, what? So if you ask me, no. Hot take on Papa Pen, whatever you want to fucking call it. I think whenever Miles turned the fuck up, whether it was on Maya or on Zig or on both of them, it was very much deserved because Maya was stringing both Zig and Miles along, and she never put that nigga Zig in his place. And then when Miles would put that nigga in his place, he was looked at as a bad guy, and I don't think that's fair. I feel like whenever Miles turned up, it was for a right reason, because he only spared Zig as much as he did due to knowing that Maya cared for him. But the second he felt like Zig kept getting out of his place and out of character, he had to chin check that nigga. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Miles is ever wrong for how he handled anything with Zig, except for maybe putting a gun to his head, even though it was a fake gun, that was a little carried away. But at the same time, I feel like he was wrong then, he wasn't. I really don't care. I'm a Miles girl, it is what it is. People gonna say, oh, you a Miles girl, you toxic. No, bitch, I'm not toxic, because don't ever get it twisted. I hold Miles accountable for his fuck shit. I don't just condone him of his behavior because I love him. But some of the times when he do things, his feelings be very valid. So, with that being said, that is all I have to say for this video today. And catch you guys in my next one. Bye!